Welcome to Toku Portal Podcast. I am Rai, and with me is...
The decay.
And the Little King.
Sorry we weren't live yesterday. Some stuff came up, we couldn't make it, but we're doing it today.
Yep, and thanks for joining. So today we're talking about Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger, episode 38. We start off with a recap from Shōlompo. Before Sho can announce the plan to break the barrier around the Southern Cross system, Tsurugi interrupts and talks about the four warriors from the past who used the power of the four constellations they need Q-Tamas from. Shōlompo doesn't get to Q-let the chance either because Tsurugi pretty much splits up the team and balance stays on the ship to find the different Q-Tamas. Don Armage orders the doctor to protect the three systems. A talking mechanical cylinder tells Don not to worry, and a mechanical Marako rises and asks who she has to defeat. The doctor tells her to take the remote with her to defend the... I already forgot the name of the system. Whatever system the doctor's on. And the cylinder cannot wait to be reunited with Champ. So, yeah, Dr. Anton is a talking cylinder, or at least that's what we can see of him for now. What did you guys think?
Let's see. Return of a villain that I actually liked. Check. And she looks badass, so that's good. This actually was a good one for me because actually the four constellation dimensions are some of my favorites, so that certainly helped towards it. And there was a tiny bit of a mistranslation thing depending on what subs you watch in a certain moment with Lucky and Garu. Assuming you've seen this episode, you'll know which one I'm talking about, but it did make me laugh anyway. And, yeah, the parts with Sho, like, feeling like he's not living up to his status as a commander, I can see that, because I feel like it hasn't just been this episode. Let's face it, with everything that went on with Lucky and the Leo system fiasco, and not to mention Tsurugi as a whole, he's kind of been pushed back a little bit, I guess. So, I mean, it makes sense that they're addressing it at least. And as for Professor Anton, is it me, or did anyone else get, like, Hydra vibes from Captain America Winter Soldier? Like, what the hell was that scientist name? Zemo, I think it was? It kind of reminded me of that anyway, so that was cool.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised Tsurugi is only just now ignoring the Q-let chance. I feel like it honestly would have made more sense if he did it sooner, but at this point, like, we really don't need that anymore. We really shouldn't be randomly assigning people to go out on missions anyways. In terms of Marako, I'm fine with her being back with a new look. Lately, we've been getting a lot of just reused costumes. Not particularly in KyuuRanger, but in other series. It's nice to see that Marako returns with a new costume, though. It kind of reminds me of like older Sentai where they would slightly modify monster outfits to reuse them, but still say like, hey, it's still different. Also, I'm pretty sure Dr. Anton put his brain in a jar or some shit. And that's what we're seeing. I'll talk more about Shōlompo later as we get through the episode. And then that whole shipping moment with Garo and Lucky. If you don't know, in the TV Nihon Suns, when Lucky takes off his king jacket, Garo says, "But you looked so sexy in it." What the fuck is going on? Who is doing this?
I can probably go into the active QC and find out.
Like
Who
this is
put that
literally
note there?
this is literally just the TV Neon Suns that's doing all this, right?
Yeah, because Kitation subs didn't try that.
I don't.
So if anyone on the TV Nihon team is listening and you happen to be a shipper,
Or a
props
furry.
to you for going the distance.
I get that, like with the whole, a while back there was a quote from Garo that was translated as, when referring to Lucky, that's the man I fell in love with, because they were going off of a whole like, oh, he's a dog thing, and dogs tend to like love their owners, they're loyal and things like that. This is going like pretty far.
I mean, it's a
Uh,
way to go.
yeah, sure, certainly is.
So after the opening, we get the episode title, which is Base 38. Shocking 9 ordeals in a row. At least that's translation we got. Tsurugi, Raptor, Hami, Sho, Naga, and Garu arrive at the 9 chambers of Kyuurin Temple, where Tsurugi says 9 ordeals await them. In the past, Kephaeus Warrior joined Tsurugi and Cuervo as a reward for completing them. They are attacked by the Kephaeus chief retainer, Death Gong. Dark matter has taken over the temple, but they still have to complete the challenges. The first one is to defeat 99 Indabi in 1 minute. The Rangers start change and succeed, but Sho doesn't really pull his weight. Tsurugi says not to worry, as Cuervo only defeated 5. The road splits into 3 challenges. So before I move on, what did you think?
I like the monster's design. It's simple but effective. I mean, it fits with the theme that we're going with, and the challenges themselves. The first one's okay. I mean, it's pretty straightforward and kind of reminded me of the Shadow Ranger from SPD, so that was cool. But I'll get into the rest of the challenges later. Overall, I mean, it was a good fight. I mean, despite Sho not pulling his weight, but what you gonna do?
Honestly, I'm surprised that Sholampo came on this mission. Uh, Mostly because it wasn't clear to me who was assigned to which team. But beyond that, Sholampo being off his game and having a bad day, I can understand that. But it's still a little surprising that he didn't take out as many as the others. He's not incapable.
Yeah, it was definitely more of like a mental thing. Um, so yeah, the road splits into 3 more challenges. Tsurugi decides that they split up. Sho proudly declares that he knows them best, so he'll decide the groups. Tsurugi and Raptor, Garu and Hami, Naga and Sho. Tsurugi has to do 9,999 sit-ups and completes the challenge alone. Hami and Garu have to cook for 2 Indabi judges, so they just call Spada for a simple recipe, and they make some sushi. Naga and Sho have to play Daruma Falls Down, which, I mean, you can look it up if you haven't seen it in any other.
It's like red light, green light for you Americans.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Naga uses his paralysis to help Sho because he would have failed otherwise. The Rangers regroup for the next challenge, which is a dance challenge. Sho instantly throws his back out, but the others succeed, and they kind of cover him up in the background, which is pretty funny. What did you guys think?
Some were stupider jokes than others, but hey, it made me laugh, so I'm happy for it. And I'll get my opinion on the rest of the challenges overall done now. I feel like a lot of these reminded me of KyuuRanger, in a sense, because, I mean, yeah, they were extremely well trained, surprisingly, but you gotta remember, they didn't exactly do normal crap for their challenges. Look at the hell is his name? Look at John. I mean, he didn't exactly go through your typical training session. So this I didn't really mind because it reminded me a lot of that. And hey, like I said, I got a few good laughs. So better than nothing.
I love that Tsurugi's challenge required him to take off his shirt again. Like, is that supposed to be service? Having him take off his shirt?
Moms watch this show too.
God. This is like in KyuuRanger where Pink kept kicking things with her feet so that like fathers with foot fetishes could watch this with their children or
It's
whatever.
not foot fetishes, it's the thighs.
It's the oh
You're
sorry.
taking it too far.
Either way, she was playing someone that was under. No, wait. She was under 18 playing 18. I loved the game that Naga and Sho had to play together. I loved Naga, like, paralyzing Sho just to keep him from moving. That was good.
Yep. So the road splits into 3 again. Sho asks the team to raise their hand if they want to partner with him, and they take off before responding, leaving him with Tsurugi. Raptor and Hami have to endure staying in a hot bath for a long time and not passing out, I guess. Garu and Naga have to make 2 Inabi laugh with silly faces and not laugh themselves. Naga succeeds, Raptor and Hami succeed, but they are trapped in discs by Defcon. Tsurugi and Sho have to shoot flying targets. Sho fails even though but Tsurugi succeeds. Any thoughts?
Not gonna comment on Raptor and Hami. The Naga Garu one, I guess, was kind of funny. And I couldn't help but think that when they were laughing at Naga just kind of hurting his feelings at this point. Come on. And I like that Sho kind of felt, even though this was basically his element, like his friggin' gun is a sniper rifle. He should be able to do this, yet Tsurugi's doing better. I thought that was a good, like, push along of that theme. So, yeah, that worked, I guess.
Again, Naga's challenge was perfect for him. He doesn't fully understand emotions, so he was probably just trying to make, like, different, like, emotion faces. And then they start laughing and he doesn't understand. And then just more of Sho being off his game again. I can understand it this time. He's like getting frustrated, he's getting upset, he's not in a clear mind. It's just making things worse for him. I feel bad for him at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure even the biggest Sho haters felt some sympathy for him. So, taking a breather, Sho is disappointed in himself and feels like he's unnecessary to the team. Tsurugi is reminded of Cuervo, who thought he was a loser as well compared to the legendary Tsurugi. But Tsurugi assured Cuervo that his strength might not be in fighting, but he's a great tactician. And Cuervo stuck around and they won a lot of battles because of it. Tsurugi thinks that Sho has his own strengths as well. It was nice seeing more of Cuervo, that he wasn't just kind of a throwaway character, that he has some plot significance in Tsurugi's development as a leader. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that, Decade, and I do like the lesson they're trying to show here. Like, it's not just strength and fighting that's gonna get you through this, and obviously they show that with Cuervo, with Commander, and I feel like that hits with a lot of them, like Raptor, of course, because she's not the strongest fighter, but she's an excellent tactician, much like Cuervo, and she's a good moderator for Sho when he can get out of hand. Oh my god, really, I could probably list a couple more, but not off the top of my head. Point is, it's a good lesson to show and a good lesson overall. So, and I did like the talk. It was a good interaction moment. We don't get to see those two talk to each other very much, so I did like that.
It's always good to like get a moment to remind us that Tsurugi really does care about his allies. It's easy to forget with how he is sometimes. And I really do like that we got a moment where these two just sit down and talk to each other. Character interaction is a huge thing in Sentai, knowing how members like talk to each other. But with a Sentai this big, no one's really been talking to each other, mostly just the same people. So it's nice to get something that's a little different for once.
Yeah, I agree. So on Planet Game in the Perseus system, Lucky, Champ, Stinger, Spada, and Kotaro are attacked by Mecha Madako, who is the chief retainer of the system. Lucky attacks while the others evacuate the citizens. Tsurugi and Sho arrive at the last challenge. Death Gong summons the other four rangers as puppets who attack. Death Gong laughs to himself because the real rangers, or the rangers that he sent out, are just in to be. The real ones are trapped in his discs. Before being killed, Sho begs them to let him go. Pretty much just grovels on the ground. They can have Tsurugi. Tsurugi and the others can't believe what they're hearing. The fake Pink apologizes to Commander Sho for having to defeat him. Sho rolls to the side and blasts the fake rangers before blasting the discs out of Death Gong's hand, freeing the other rangers. Sho explains to the others that he knew because Hami and Garu don't address him as Commander Sho, which they do in the fight, and Raptor was too nice for how pathetic he was behaving. And for Naga, it was just a feeling. Naga turns to the camera saying he can't believe Sho after all. Awesome. So before I go on, what did you guys think?
I'm always up for moments, so that made me happy. And I did like that they didn't make that a runoff joke. Sho really does know them all pretty well because he's obviously been working with them for a while. And he knows like the little habits they have, how they act, and I tried to think of a reason for Naga. My best bet is that he would have fought against the mind control harder after the whole Akamba thing. But that could probably just be me, and I thought it was really clever of Sho, and I didn't really mind it after I figured that out, so that works. So yeah, I really liked it. Oh, and Tsurugi reacting to Sho, just that got a laugh out of me, so that was good. But I couldn't help but think when the other team reached the planet Gam, where the hell's X8 when you need him?
I loved Tsurugi's immediate reaction. Like, I can't believe you. After that conversation we just had. I always saw Sho Lampo as kind of like the father figure to 11 kids. And this moment here just showed more towards that. He really does know them. He's been watching all of them all this time. As for Naga, he didn't really need a reason for Naga. 3 out of 4, it was pretty safe to assume. It was like, yeah, probably Naga as well. But I do love that Naga kind of calls him out and like, yeah, no, I can't trust him. Other than that, this was just generally a good moment.
Yeah. So Tsurugi calls him a legendary commander. Sho says he's the type that rises to a compliment. He tells Death Gong that there's nothing wrong with being cocky before saying his motto about walking the path of the dragon and all that, and start changing with the others. Tsurugi handles the Indibi, while the others use Q-Tamas that give them martial arts skills to fight Death Gong. They fail after Sho gives Garu the Koinu Q-Tama, making him act like a little puppy. So Sho arrives and says he'll be Death Gong's opponent. And then after the commercial break, Sho's character song starts playing before they fight in a hand-to-hand battle, which is awesome. The Rangers defeat Death Gong with their finishers, and he turns giant. Sho deploys in Ryuteo and uses everyone's Voyager as arm attachments, including Gigan Ho's booster legs, which is pretty neat. Sho finds a disc, or back on the ground. He finds a disc and frees a monk, who gives them the Kefeus Q-Tama. What did you guys think of the fight?
The different martial arts techniques I loved. The bit with the Koinu thing I thought was absolutely adorable. And I know we don't get to hear it very often, but I really, really love Sho's song. It's just so perfect for him. And that's what makes it awesome. And even better, I mean, I never thought that he could, know martial arts. Because you don't really think about that with this team, because they're all mostly weapon-based. Most of them don't fight hand-to-hand, well, with the exception of Champ, but he's more boxing anyway. So to see Sho do all these, martial arts techniques, and he looked so much like KyuuRanger, so I am wholeheartedly okay with that, because I love that Ranger. The bits in the Megazord were just awesome with, the booster arms. That was so clever, too. We usually use the booster arms on another mech for, Q-Tamagen. You wouldn't think to do that for Ryuteo, but it's compatible, so it works. And just all of that I thought was awesome. And the bit with the monk, short, yeah, but hey, it kept the bit going, so at least there's that. And hey, 2 down, 2 to go.
Garo is still nothing but a joke character. God. The gag where the Q-Tama he was given was Canis Major, and so he just fights like he normally would, or pretty similar. It's like, yeah, okay, that was funny. But then, he gives him Canis Minor next, and he just starts acting like a puppy. God damn, that was taking it a little too far.
Yeah, but it was still cute. Ish.
My problem here is that Garo doesn't get anything. He could just not have been in this series and nothing would have been different for it.
Well, then that TV Nihon person wouldn't get to ship.
That's pretty much all he's been good for, is some subber living out some furry fantasy. My apologies if you take offense to that. But other than that, it was cool seeing them do actual martial arts styles. Kind of reminded me of KyuuRanger a bit. And the mech fight this episode was really good. We saw them actually switch between different uses and different mechs rather. It was good.
Yep. So the other Rangers finish evacuating the citizens, but before they can join the fight, Mariko presses that switch that Dr. Hansen gave her, turning Champ berserk. Episode end. Yeah, any final thoughts?
Well, obviously there's gonna be quite a couple theories rolling around about the good doctor and Champ until next week. And yeah, I really like the episode. I am excited and nervous about next week, because on the one hand, it's got some interesting points in it that I'm looking forward to, but at the same time, I feel like no matter how I'm gonna defend this one, I'm gonna be the one eating crow. So, yeah, mixed reactions for next week.
The whole making Champ go berserk thing is a good setup for next week's episode. going off of how Stinger said, "Oh, you don't want to tell the others because they'll worry. I'll help keep your secret." It's a good thing Stinger was in his group too. The only other person that knew was Garo, and we all know he isn't good for anything. God. So far, Garo's best moment was piggybacking off of Stinger's thing. Like, every every character in a Sentai typically gets a finest moment near the end of the series that shows the accumulation of their uh, character growth and development and everything they've come to be. But Garo has nothing. It's upsetting. And I'm sorry if I'm annoying you by talking about Garo so much. I'll stop now.
Yeah, and then it turns out, okay, spoiler alert, but since we're already getting Stinger's tie into the episode of Stinger next episode. Okay, basically everyone already knows about Champ's Berserk thing. It's not a secret. They're just pretending like it is. So even that has been diminished in value because Sho and Lucky and everyone else know that Champ's got a Berserker problem. Oh well.
Well, to be fair, in that point, they thought it was just a one-time thing. They didn't know it was a consistent thing going on.
An episode of Stinger, they basically say, "Don't worry, Stinger and Champ will fix it."
Because they didn't know the extent of it.
Yeah, probably. They didn't know they could press a switch and cause him to go berserk at any moment. But yeah, overall, I really like this episode. Last week, I was saying that the only way this episode could live up to last week's was if it was funny and if it had good fighting, and it didn't disappoint. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied.
Yeah, had a lot of fun, good fights, somewhat good humor. So, hey, if I had to watch it again, I would.
This was a surprisingly good episode, actually. Last week, based off the preview, I thought this was going to be dumb. And it was actually really good character growth for a show. We are approaching the final arc of the series here. It's gonna It's happening soon. We got 3 more months at the most. I don't know if we have an actual date on when this one is ending, or to be more accurate, an episode count, but it's coming up on us. Thank you for joining us today. In a couple more hours, we'll be doing the podcast for Kamen Rider Build, episode 11. And then next Tuesday, more KyuuRanger. Next Wednesday, more Build.
Thanks for listening. Oh, sorry.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Laters.
Later, taters.
Goodbye.